Well, believe it or not, I am back. Hello, wrestling fans. This is Smart Mark with your Ring of Honor review for January 21st, 2012. The show opened up with a video package highlighting the Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards match from Final Battle. They fit in also Kevin Steen's promo at the end. That happened at the end of Final Battle. And, I was excited because I knew I was finally getting something post-Final Battle. The last, they did a couple of best-of episodes, and then they did a couple episodes where they were, on the road, but they were filmed before Final Battle. And last week's was just they had the longest match in modern history last week, and they were trying to show as much of it as they could on the show. And it was actually a really fun match to watch for I would think if you were in the audience that it would have been just an awesome experience to see the match, but the way they chopped it up, it was like the Briscoes and Roderick Strong and Michael Elgin versus Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team and El Generico and was it Eddie Edwards? I think so. Anyway, fun. It was fun, but the way they chopped it up just made it hard to watch, especially early on. They were trying to cut out a lot of that. So this week we finally get new post-Final Battle matches and promos, and we start out with Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness in the ring announcing that Rhett Titus of the All Night Express has been injured, and in the main event we're going to get Kenny King, his teammate in All Night Express, versus Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks. And I thought that sounded like a fairly fun match. I'll go into it more when we do the main event here. Then we get Mike Mondo versus Eddie Edwards, and before the match, both of them had promos, and I really thought Mike Mondo was really good in his promo. Made me excited to watch the match. Of course, I kind of, Edwards won, and that's probably how it should be, but that's how it should be right now. But I think that they would be smart to push Mike Mondo a little bit more. I could see a guy like that, either in a good tag team with somebody or even fighting for the TV title. So then we get Davey Richards kind of promo of him talking about the Showdown in the Sun pay-per-view, which the more I think about it, the more I want to watch it. But I'll come back to that. Then they had the package about the Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team and the Briscoes and their match at Final Battle. During the little video segment, Jim Cornette is saying that they're going to give a $5,000 fine to anybody that hits somebody else over the head with a chair because they're worried about concussions. And I love this. I love it. Love it. I love it. It's like that thing now, kind of back, it really made me flash back to Kevin Nash and the Power Bomb and how he injured, I think it was the Big Show, and so they outlawed the Power Bomb and every time he did it, you know, it was a big deal. And so they're like making it a big deal now. If you hit somebody over the head with a chair, you know you're going to get a fine. And I think it's a good thing to add drama to the product. So then we get, after, you know, basically give it a rundown of all this, you know, Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team have a promo segment during it, and they kind of were explaining how the New York fans got in their heads and all this and that. And, you know, oh, now we're the bad guys. And I thought that was kind of, you know, when they said it like that, I kind of got at least the point that they were going for, is that, you know, they didn't want to be bad guys, but, you know, they're kind of being forced into it by the fans. And, I mean, everybody knows that the match at Final Battle with them was kind of a train wreck, but going out of it, I like the way they're doing it. So, you know, it makes sense for them to have Haas and Benjamin out, you know, on this promo saying exactly what they said pretty much. And then after all that, we get the Briscoes in the ring with Jim Cornette. And one of the funniest things, because that $5,000 fine, Mark Briscoe's like, so who gets that money? You know, do you get that money, Jim Cornette? If we're the ones getting hit over the head, shouldn't we get the money? And Cornette's kind of, you know, playing along like he doesn't know what to tell them. And so it was really fun. They got the crowd worked up, which I want to say that this crowd was pretty awesome. And the setup, you know, comparatively, this is the difference, and this is why Impact TNA needs to get out of the fucking Impact zone. And that's another thing that just watching this show made me just much more adamant that that's how a crowd should be. And the setup, you know, yeah, it was small, but it looked great. It looked like a fun place to be. Who needs, I mean, I don't know, like, if their shows aren't drawing much, then scale it down. But get the fuck out of the Impact zone. Look at what Ring of Honor did with, you know, obviously less money put towards the production, and it looked great. Big props to Ring of Honor for this show. I mean, and the fans. And it was in Baltimore, Maryland, I think. I believe so. And yeah, I thought the show looked great, and it made me want to be there. Then we get the House of Truth and Roderick Strong representing them against Ricky Reyes. And this, you know, was pretty much spelled out. The funny thing on this is, at the beginning of the match, you see Roderick Strong extend the hand, and, you know, Truth Martini goes to the commentating and starts talking about how they're going to, this year it's going to be all about the Code of Honor. And in what was a pretty good, like, a pretty decent match for what it was, Roderick Strong ends up winning with a roll-up, grabbing the tights, cheating to win. And it just, you know, a good setup for that with Truth Martini saying, oh, it's all about the Code of Honor. That's our catchphrase for this year or whatever. And he wins with that cheap roll-up. So then we get the Inside Ring of Honor segment, which this was actually a pretty good Inside ROH, I felt. They had some things on here that people needed to know about. Got some, Kevin Steen cut a good promo talking about how he took out 3 guys in one night, basically, and, he's like, listing it, I should say, and basically, he's like, and that's one night. Can you imagine what it's going to be like this year, And then they're talking about the 10th anniversary show, and this was okay, hold on. Let me come back to the little embassy promo where they, I guess it's Bannister, R.D. Evans, and, kind of Prince Nana starts out talking, and then Bannister Evans, or R.D. Evans, whatever, says, it's not about you anymore, it's about Tommaso Ciampa, and la-da-da. Main thing getting over here was really this Bannister R.D. Evans introducing himself. He had made his first appearance at Final Battle, but they were kind of playing the card of who is this guy. So then we get the announcement that there's going to be a 10th anniversary show in New York, and it's going to be like early March 3rd, I think it was, and they're going to have that on pay-per-view for $10. And although, that sounds great in and of itself, that sounds great. But then in the same month, towards the end of the month, we're going to have a pay-per-view for, $20 to watch this Showdown in the Sun pay-per-view on Friday and Saturday. So it's kind of like, I didn't really expect Ring of Honor to be having 2 pay-per-views in the same month. It seems like they were, their shit was more spaced out than that. And generally, I'm only, with all the pay-per-views, it's hard to say which one I'll get. Chances are I'll probably go with that Showdown in the Sun, just because I've, the way they've been announcing it is, and kind of like a 2-day pay-per-view just really interests me. And then we get a backstage, locker room, Veda Scott interviewing Richards and O'Reilly, and I hadn't, at least not that I can remember, seen this Veda Scott before, and I thought it was, pretty, she's green, but nice to have, a female backstage doing interviews in something, sausage fest like Ring of Honor like it is, so I thought that was good. Richards and O'Reilly cutting this promo that just sucked, and apparently Richards and O'Reilly are Team Ambition. I don't know, that sounds pretty lame to me. Just my opinion. And, at some point O'Reilly's like, yeah, maybe after we, because I guess they're getting a title shot against the Briscoes, which, come on, they're not going to win. But, of course they got to talk like they think they're going to win, or what would be the point. But O'Reilly's like, well, maybe after this match we'll have the new American Wolves. And Richards is like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on ambition. And these guys are just too, I don't know, not exciting. Then we get the main event. It's Kenny King versus Matt Jackson, and both of their partners came out with them. So, we see Rhett Titus out there on crutches, and Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson doing their typical, when they go in for the handshake, it's like, no, we only shake each other's hands, not our opponents. And match was really entertaining. There was a point where Matt was getting ready to get, kicked or hit by Kenny King, and Nick pulls him out of the ring, and they're like, I don't know, there's such a element of DX, like early Triple H and Shawn Michaels with what they do, that I think that the Young Bucks they're really exciting, and I know they, get a lot of flack for being, high flyers, whatever, spot monkeys, but they're fun to watch for me. I guess it's just that I like, cruiserweight style wrestling, and I know sometimes it's about, high spots and stuff, but it's pro wrestling is an exhibition, and these guys are showing just so much agility and creativity with their moves, and that's what makes Ring of Honor so good. Is it's like basically, and I'll even we'll just X Division when it used to be like about No Limits, because you've got a Steen in there or a Michael Elgin, and they're not all cruiserweights, but it's heavily geared towards that and that style. And if you like it and you like the fast-paced, high-spot wrestling, then I just think Ring of Honor does that the best of anybody. So ends up being a deal where, to end the match, Nick Jackson goes over and steals one of Rhett Titus's crutches, and then, like they're kind of just fucking with Rhett Titus, and the ref ends up distracted, and Nick Jackson hits Kenny King over the back with one of the crutches, setting up the win for Matt Jackson. And the thing that really I liked about this is All Knights have already got their title shot lined up, and now the Young Bucks, are in line for a title shot at the tag titles. You get a one-on-one match between two members of these teams with the outside drama between the two other guys, setting up, you in the future that these two teams have this history now, and they're both getting ready to get shots at the titles. It just all makes such perfect sense, and what a great tag team division Ring of Honor has. This is foresight for things still to come between these teams. I just think it's good stuff. This show was really good. Grading it would, definitely, to me, especially, just all the things I liked in this show, I'm going to give it a solid B show. I don't throw out, A pluses, and you might get an A minus from me, a B, because there's always things that I still, when I watch, I'm like, this could have been better or that, but I don't even, and the thing with Ring of Honor is they've got some of the most boring mic, work that I've ever seen. when you get a Eddie Edwards or Davey Richards on the mic, they just can't go. And Roderick Strong, same way. Haas and Benjamin, I don't think either of them are particularly great on the mic. And they give these guys a lot of mic time. So, I don't know, that's the thing that always stops it from being like an A show to me when it comes to Ring of Honor. And sometimes production, but not in this case. I thought production was pretty good, and it was a solid show overall with a few good matches and a lot of good information that we got for months to come for Ring of Honor. During the main event, you had them announcing some of the matches and stuff for next week, which, I mean, that's what you got to do. So many times it's like these other shows end and you have no clue what next week's program is going to be like. And, I mean, you might get a cliffhanger or something that makes you want to see what happens, but, I like sometimes when they're like, oh, we're going to have, this guy versus this guy next week, you want to watch that. So, really solid show, and if you guys aren't already doing it, you can basically sign up for free. All it takes is an email address and be watching Ring of Honor off their website every week. I got to give props to British Fist, and Mr. Parkin gave me a real big shout out a few weeks ago, and that was really cool, brother. I hope you get the chance to listen to this show. So I really want to thank you, man. That was really cool. And sorry that I've been gone for a while. My family moved, and I've started a new job where there was some pretty lengthy hours starting out. Looks like things were kind of getting back on track. I'm getting settled in, so hopefully we'll be able to start doing a lot more of these review shows. I definitely have been jonesing to talk to you guys, so to those of you that are sticking with me here, I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment. Let me know you're still out there. And we will see you next time.